Would you notarize a document for Joe Biden? It sounds kind of silly, but it's a serious question. See, as notaries, we're the last line of defense against fraud. And one of the things that we have to do is determine the mental fitness or capacity of the signer. So we're going to go into that. So if somebody has been declared legally or medically incompetent, it's game over. You cannot notarize that document. But what if they haven't been, like old Joe, for example? I mean, he was president and it seemed like there might be some issues. Well, this is where your judgment comes in as a notary. So even if you love Joe Biden and you're a raging fan of his, and it's my judgment that he's not fit to sign, well, that's on me as the notary. Likewise, if I determined that he was fit and went ahead and notarized something for him, I could be held liable for that if he was in fact not competent. So let's talk about how we can determine that mental fitness for notarial certificates. So here's what I do every single time I'm going to notarize a document. The first thing I do is I ask them to state their name clearly, okay? Then I'm going to ask them, do you know what you are signing, okay? So they have to know to some level what it is exactly that they're about to sign. And then I'm going to ask them if they are signing of their own free will, meaning they're not being pressured or coerced into signing this document, because that is my role as a notary. Now, after that, I'm going to go in and determine if there is there's some proper orientation. So I'm going to ask them, where are they right now? Okay, they should know. They might not know what city they're in, especially if, say, they're in like a nursing home or a rehab facility, but they should know what state they're in. Okay, so if they aren't even oriented to the state they're in, there should be some concerns. So next I'm going to ask them their orientation to so that's time. So now I'm going to ask them their orientation to, that's place. So I'm going to ask orientation to time. So again, they might not know the exact date, but they should know the month that they're in, right? They should know which month it is. So if they didn't, I would raise concerns about their fitness to sign. And then I'm going to ask them another question that kind of wraps all that into one. I would ask them, say, who is the president of the United States? Now, in Joe's case, he might still think he's the president. Not sure. But they should know. That should be something that we know who the president of the United States is. So now we can determine that they're oriented to person, place, and time. And if they can check all those boxes, then you do have a green light for notarization. Now, here's some red flags to look for. Okay, so if the signer appears confused, easily agitated, or can't answer some of those simple questions, pause, okay? Because a botched notarization can get you sued or even worse. At the end of the day, if they're not fit to sign and you notarize, your stamp means nothing. And so we're making this video because I've actually seen this before, where we've had to file a complaint on a notary because we had somebody who was actually medically deemed incompetent, and somehow a power of attorney was produced by a notary. So those are concerns. That's a case of fraud, and I'm going to report a case of fraud. But just remember, it's okay to walk away if you do not feel. Again, at the end of the day, it's your call and it's on you. So with that, would I notarize a document for Joe Biden? Hell no. So, hey, if you've ever had to walk away from a signing, or if you would or wouldn't notarize for Joe Biden, drop it in the comments and let me know.